Hello everyone, this is a Solidworks basic overview on how to use the system. So once you've loaded up Solidworks, this is the main home screen. Up the top we have our, if you want to create a new part, a new assembly or a new drawing, or we can go to the advanced features where you can enter sort of the tutorial package that Solidworks do and the resources. Also you might end up opening up any sort of framework templates or what we call industry-led sort of packages, which are all hidden in the advanced feature. Then we have open, so you can open any files or documents that you've stored in SolidWorks. Obviously this is your first time you have any files to do. Because I use SolidWorks quite regularly, I have quite a lot of recent documents, and again you can view all just by using the view all, or if you've got some permanent folders as well, you can obviously go through the folders and find out any commonly used folders. Also you have the resources function, which is what's new. So again, if SolidWorks has been updated, it highlights any new changes. Your portal, so remember SolidWorks is a fee. You have to pay a license fee to use it, so whether or not if you're a student, an educator, or you're an industrial user, you still have to pay for the system. My SolidWorks links you to the SolidWorks home page, which is customized to you and your uses around SolidWorks. So it could be any training, could be any exams that you wish to undertake, could be any updates or any particular add-ons that you wish to have. User groups is normally within your deployment. So again, if you're in industry, maybe across a design team or across a team of engineers, then you'll be linked into a user group so you can share files quite easily. Forum, any help and support from the SolidWorks network, and then you got the get support, which where it goes through to Dassault Systems, which owns SolidWorks, and then they offer you some support if you have it as part of your license. So I'm just going to open up a part. So this is SolidWorks 2019 here, but it has been the same for SolidWorks over the last sort of 10 years. Not really much has changed apart from some of the colouring on the interface, but everything's roughly in the same location. So by default, when you load up the system, it ends up being in the features toolbar on the top, where most of it you can't actually select, it's sort of closed off. Then you have sort of the secondary toolbar, which is sketch, surfaces, evaluate, dimensions, add-on, simulation, MB, CAM, CAD, CAM, analysis, and plastics. This bar will be as long, could be long or very short, depends on how many add-ins you have turned on. So on the add-ins, if you've got circuit works done on 3D view, or Photo View 360, Scan to 3D Motion, obviously these tabs will get longer and longer and longer. So on the features before you start your sketch, all you can do is extrude, revolve, or you can put in some reference planes, axes, or curves. Apart from that, you can't use any of the 3D functions until you've generated a 2D based sketch. Down the left hand side is your design tree, which you'll be able to pick up this blue bar once you have some features running through. It also highlights you where the front plane, top plane and right plane are within your view. Also at this point, if you know what material you're going to be using, so you could say that actually I'm using steel, and you're going to use a maybe 1020 steel, maybe cold drawn or hot drawn, or maybe just a standard 1020. You can apply it to your feature before you start drawing. Then you have any annotated notes or unassigned items, history tab and a sensor block as well, which you can run through. Down here we have our different sort of views that you can click on as well, which just select a different common front, back, side, left, right, trimetric or oblique. Also, if you hold down the keyboard, if you hold down the control key, control number 1 is the front view, 2 is the back view, 3 is left, 4 is right, 5 is top, 6 is bottom, 7 for isometric, 8 to return to the view that you last had, and then 0 and 9 don't do anything. Control space loads up all of the views available to you. So we need to start our sketch. So basically when you're in on the sketch function is where we first start, or you need to start in the surfaces tab depending on what type of drawing that you're doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw from the top plane with my datum being in on the center. I'm just going to do 100 by 100 mil square. Now what you can also do is sometimes you can actually add smart dimensions. You can add more dimensions to dimension up your value. If you have too many dimensions, you'll get a text saying that you've over dimensioned the part. Once your part goes black, like so, it's fully defined and it won't move. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a block component that we're going to apply two chamfers to, a fillet, and put a hole through the centre. I'm going to show you how to do that. So I've done my basic square. Now I need to extrude the rest of my cube. So I'm going to get another 100 by 100 mil cube, like so. So again, just running through the hot commands, Control 1 will show you the front face, 2 the back, 3 left hand side, 4 the right hand side, 5 the top, 6 the bottom, 7 my isometric view, 8 to return to my normal, space to then choose your view that isn't actually on a hot command, so it's just like this view here. So Control 7 to change back to isometric. So we're going to start to use some of my 3D features here. So I'm going to basically apply a fillet to my top edge. Now I could go and select all 4 edges, or I can just click the surface like so. Just get a nice 2 mil round, just to break off any chips on those components. Control space, I'm going to do the same again on the bottom. Just going to choose this view so I can come in and now select the chamfer tool, which is underneath the fillet. Just going to do the same again, apply the same surface. This time I'm going to do 2.5 mil chamfer just to break off the edge. Like so, Control 7 to return to my view. You'll notice along this top bar here we have some zoom to fits, which has the hotkey of F. Zoom to an area, so I can maybe draw an area I want to zoom into. Also on your mouse, if you use a wheel, scrolling back and forwards as well will highlight any particular part. We have a previous view, section view, so you can actually put a section on. We can drag the section on our planes or swap the planes depending on what particular section we want. Annotation views, we can toggle an annotation. Here's another sort of way to select any view. Then we can come down our what type of component we want. So again, you can have hidden or wireframe. Just use a standard shaded with edges here, and I can choose how much I can physically see. View lights, grid, dimension name, center of mass, worlds, all that sorts of stuff. Then we go into the appearance, so I can edit the appearance of my project. So because I could say it's, I've already named it as a part, I could actually say it's brushed steel or satin with a stainless. If I wanted to, I could apply a colour to it as well. So I could say actually it's blue in cast. You know, like chain link for instance, or different tread plate. So I'm just going to say it's polished steel, brushed steel, actually looks better, tick that off, and then just close the appearance. Also what I can do is I can apply a scene to the backdrop, so I've got 3-point fade, I can play in white, I could have like a backdrop, soft spotlight, rooftop, courtyard, just to sort of bring different effects into my part. 3-point fade for me is quite standard. And you obviously perspective and views, or a cartoon based view depending on what you're trying to achieve. So you can turn all these features on. Okay, so On the right here with our resources, you know, we pin this or unpin this, it will collapse and come back in. So we have our resources function, design libraries, we've got like toolbox, we've got bolts or content that we can pull from Solidworks directly. So we could come in and say, well, we want some routing tools, HVAC system, and bring some already created particular components like this tube in. Like so. So I could say actually I'm put some wiring on my component, I can drag that in, bring that part into play as such. I could say that like so, and then apply my tube quick, I can do a route of it and the electric cable running through. But I'm going to delete that off because I don't actually want that on my component as such. File Explorer will allow you to bring any files that open in SolidWorks or on your desktop or in your file. View palette. Then we have our scenes. Then we have our custom properties, and then our forum, which you can also go on to. View palette here, which actually shows your drawing, was only option available when you actually have a created drawing for your component. So I'm just going to leave it as my resources at this current time, or you can just unpin this, it will slide into this little bar here. So blue bar, I can drop back, I can remove any functions that I had, just what we call rollback. I can roll back and roll forward. Okay, so I'm going to apply a thread now through the center of my part. So I'm going to go into Hole Wizard, come on, I want a shaded straight tap. I'm in the metric, on a bottom hold tap, and I want to use a nice big M20 times 2mm thread through the whole lot. So go to my position, choose the face I would like it on. So as you can see, I've just selected the front face now, so it won't put it anywhere but apart from the front face. So I could latch onto the centre here because I know that all my origins in the centre, but actually I don't know where my centre is. So again, I could do this in one of two ways. I could make it a centre line, but I've actually removed the corners, so it'd be quite hard to work out where my edges were. As per my sides, I've obviously got my midpoints, which I could then run centre lines through. So SolidWorks will actually allow you to run centre lines just matching up to the components. Just going to drop down again, another centre line, latch onto my midpoints, like so. Then I can just put a point on, and that'll tell the system where I want my part. Another way we could have done this, if I use this example here, is I could have actually used a dimensioning tool and said I want this 50. And then obviously then from the top surface, then obviously this 60 just offsets it away from my component, and then I could have had a structured dimension rather than just relying on center lines. So if the customer changes their mind, it's very easy to edit their request. Once I'm happy, green tick to confirm that in its place. So I could now do a section view. I could look at the side view halfway through, and actually now I can see my product is now halfway through. So remember, this is a tapped hole. So what I could do is go into my system, documents, go into my detailing tab here, turn on shaded cosmetic thread. I can now see there's a thread running through my particular component. Just going to turn off section view now. I'm going to take my part so I can see a couple of different sides. And now I'm going to quite simply do a nice sort of trim feature on one of my side components. So I'm going to draw on the right hand face here, Control 4 to pan around the right hand side. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to do a revolve cut. So I'm going to use a center point line down my edge. I'm going to define my length as I want a 28mm cut, and I would like it 38mm up from the top edge, like so. So what I can now do is I can now say, well, actually, what do I want to revolve? So I want to, let's do 32mm long by 24 depth. By 34. As you can see that, so that's sort of gone on an angle. There's one or two ways we could fix this. If we click the one and hold shift, click our top one, we could just say it needs to be parallel or maybe equal in length. So we could go for a parallel, which then force it back down. Obviously, you notice I changed it to 34 rather than 32, so I could actually say that this line needs to be equal and tick. And what I can then do is delete that extra element, which then will turn it back to 32, referencing the top. So if I now go in and say I want to change this to 34, it'll move everything together and keep everything nice and linked. Okay, happy with this. Now I'm going to go to features. I'm going to go into, normally if you're going to want to revolve, so I could say, yeah, I want to close it off, I could add it in, revolve around my line, and I can add that particular feature, or I could now actually delete this, re-edit the sketch, go into features, do a revolve cut instead. I have a nice sort of chunk taken off. So that's basically looking at revolve base and resolved cut. Sweep lost in boundary will follow a profile. So again, they follow a profile moving forward as well. So a swept cut, again, you can put a sweep line in and it can follow a particular profile. So, okay, so we've just done our revolve cut. Now I'm going to want to replicate that pattern. So I'm going to patterns. I'm going to say, well, I'm going to follow this line here. Features, I'm going to say is my cut. I could do as many cuts as now I want. So I'm going to say every 25mm. And I want 2. 25mm, make sure I actually get the right one, I suppose. I only want 2. That's 45mm. Okay. I forgot it's 100mm and it's 75 then. And we go to tick, I can replicate that pattern. As well as I get some weird kind of keyway shape there, but because it was obviously, remember, it's the whole circle will then move, which is quite cool. Then moving along, obviously we have the shell function, so I could actually just shell out my particular components. It will just shell everything to a wall thickness and keep anything left inside. So the shell is very good for sort of like 3D prints. You want to just remove any material and fill it with support material instead. So rib, you can basically apply thin walls to bodies. I could actually, if I wanted to, put a line in between these two and rib it out. It's very good for supporting components for injection molding. So wrap, you can wrap a feature onto like a curved surface, put it on a sketch and wrap it in. And obviously mirror any parts. But as a basic overview, we've covered some of the good features that are within Solidworks 3D section. So keep an eye out for any further videos, but stay tuned for the next one, which will be uploaded very soon. Thanks for watching.